Good morning. Welcome to Sunday Sunrise. My name is David Williams. In a short amount of time, we'll have Monsignor Jim Vlaun out, as we always do, with his program, Religion&Rock. Today's message is on relaxation, and, well, I'm pretty excited to hear the message. It's going to be a wonderful message, a message full of hope and faith, and, of course, great rock and roll will be interspersed throughout. I always find myself imagining, what the Monsignor will play as it, pertains to relaxation. And I was talking to Faye and I asked Faye, do you think he'll play that one, by Frankie? Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Relax. I mean, to me, that would be a great one to do, but here's the thing of it. I don't have that kind of time. I do not, because what I have to do, because I'm upstate now and I'm not down on Long Island, I can't just press a button and go right into FM. I don't have that kind of time to relax and sing this song with Frankie Goes to Hollywood from the album Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, Relax. But that's really what it's going to be all about today from the Monsignor, and I'm looking forward to that, to doing the one live today from WBAB 102.3 and also to do the one from last year. That's right. It was June the 6th of 2021. And the Monsignor had a program entitled, Vacation and Relaxation at that time. The Monsignor was talking about vacations and relaxations at that time. And I'm going to do a time travel from that day, from my show, and the things we were talking about then in terms of relaxation. But really to get WBAB 102.3, Long Island's only classic rock, what I do is I go into iHeart. That's right, they have a fantastic streaming service, and so I'm popping in there right now. Now, I must say, it's 6:50 a.m. We're probably going to be joining a great talk radio show in progress called Plugged into Long Island, so we'll find out. I'm going there now, and yes, I just clicked the button, and I'm waiting for it to happen. What will happen?
Wealth management is navigating the peaks and valleys, and it's the confidence to stay.
All right, this is a brief ad for Citibank. Absolutely, and that's fine. And then it will happen. There may be some tunes, actually. I don't know. Waiting.
Junk and College Hunks Moving Studios. WBAB 102.3 FM Babylon. WHFM 95.3 FM Southampton. Available in 8 states. Streaming live on the WBAB app and WBAB.com. A Cox Media Group station.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Say it with me. 40 days up to 40 pounds.
40 days up to 40 pounds. Now, I just want to be very clear about this. I normally don't have ads on my program, and if this is turned into a, one of those video things, the show like out there on YouTube. If that's the case, and those of you that do not have Red, as I do, my apologies for the ads. I want to be clear that those ads that play, I don't get a dime of those ad money. I do not monetize, and any monies that happen to come about, which I don't think will be any, but if they were, they would go to, YouTube would decide. They will be the decider. Again, there'll be a lot of tunes today. Some of them, they'll be very clear that they'll say it's okay for you to put it out there, David, but you cannot monetize on any of these. And I want to make it clear, all the money, should really go to those artists whose tunes those are, or to the Monsignor, or whoever. It doesn't really matter to me, because I know. Now, I'm just waiting. This is one of those talk over things. This is really the fun thing for me. This is the opportunity for me to, just say whatever comes to mind, about the whole thing or whatever. Now, last week, a great program by the Monsignor. It was on Remembering, obviously, given it was Memorial Day weekend. The Monsignor had a show on Remembering, and it was a great show. And yes, I was so excited. I went back to Memorial Day of last year, and I also included that as well, or a portion of it, of the show on Remembering from 2021 and 2022, and the year, and the year before. No, not the year before. The 2020, I did not. Now, I do have the announcement on the winner of the Song of the Month for June. I'll provide that later. It's a teaser. The winner is in, as fairly voted on by you, the listener. The winner is in on the Song of the Month, and I have the winner to announce sometime on the program today. Okay, I'm done stalling. Is there a song now? Oh, yeah, it's a Billy Joel song. You guys know I'm a huge fan of Billy. Now, lately, the Monsignor reintroduced me to All for Lena. And ever since that time, I've been giving it my all for Lena. And anyway, Faye, she says to me, who's this Lena you've been singing about? I said, Faye, it's Billy's girlfriend from back in the day, you know. He was singing about her and stuff. And in your favorite song, Only the Good Die Young, from the album The Stranger, he was singing about Virginia, another girl from back in the day, Faye. I had nothing to do with that. All I say, yes, if Billy wanted to do an All for Lena, I would be very happy. I'd say, Billy, give me a call. 573-680-356. We could do it. And I'm not a dime, folks. Again, I'm not getting paid. We could do it in my car, Malibu, just like Billy was, I don't know, maybe in carpool karaoke with Mr. James Corden. Now, has Billy ever done that? Been in his car singing out there in L.A.? I don't have I don't really know at all. I don't really know if he did that at all, but it would be a good thing. I think James would do a great All for Lena with Billy sitting right alongside, or whatever. A big shot, sure. Folks, I'm going in mobile mode because I'm in the driveway now, my car, and it's like not even 7 a.m. I don't want to, wake up my landlord. Oh, I would not want to wake him up. I'm out of here.
Times are getting hard for you, little girl. I'm a humming and a strumming all over God's world. You can't remember when you got your last meal, and you don't know just how a woman feels. You didn't know what rock and roll was until you met my drummer on the great tubas. I got there in the nick of time. His hands across your steel line.
I should probably explain that. That's fantastic. Now, here's the deal. I've arrived at the Two Heart Sunglasses supermarket. Those little gaps, you might hear them for this first part of the show, where this is coming out live from WBAB 102.3 Long Island's only classic rock. And that's because that's the price you pay when you use streaming radio and you're not there live. If I was down there on the island right now, those gaps wouldn't appear. They'll come at intervals. They're about a second long, and it's no big deal. Now, that's the only question I have is, are they going to play this whole tune, or are they going to cut right out of it, because we're very close to 7 a.m., and then segue right into the Monsignor show. Religion and rock. Rock out. Absolutely.
Take you WBAB, Long Island's only classic rock.
At Catholic Health, when we see Long Island, before all else, we see you. Every unique, astounding one of you. LongLiveLongIsland.org. Coming up next, New York Governor Kathy Hochul and legislative leaders agree on a package of gun control measures. Our political observer, Alan Chartock, shares his thoughts on why the state's strict gun laws can't fully protect New Yorkers from gun violence in a conversation on redistricting and more with former Democratic Congressman Bill Owens. Those stories and more next on the Legislative Gazette.
My fine listener, I want to be clear, and just to say I didn't set that up. That's a good idea, though. I couldn't have set that up. That would have been too clever. Now, I do talk about politics on my show. I do talk about national affairs and local affairs and state affairs, and these are very interesting subjects, and I think they're all very important to my listeners. But again, this is Sunday, and if it's Sunday sunrise, well, it's really all about the Lord. And it starts off with the Monsignor with his program today entitled Relaxation. Now, this to me is a chuckle deep inside my soul and my heart. I hope you understand. They're playing this music, this intro into the legislative affairs on WBAB 102.3 after coming out of that song, Once Bitten, Twice Shy. That to me is a very special moment, but it's not a planned moment. It's one of those things that I call serendipitous. You know, they're just wonderful things that happen.
Support for the Legislative Gazette comes from New York State United Teachers, a union of professionals standing with more than 600,000 workers in education, human services, and healthcare with the Our Voice, Our Values, Our Union campaign. And
now, Monday through Friday, I work in healthcare. That's right. I'm a cardiac sonographer and echo tech, and this is a labor of love. This is what I do. It's kind of like you might call it a hobby. Yeah, I'm doing an internet-based radio show. Perhaps you might have heard to it referred as a podcast. Some people call it a podcast. I just typically refer to it as an internet-based radio show. But this is fantastic, but it's not really what I had planned, you know. And so what I'm going to do is take care of this problem right away by going to the Monsignor's website. Folks, if you want to hear the Monsignor's program, Religion and Rock, go online and go to religionandrock.com today. You can binge listen if you want. You can listen to all the Monsignor shows. At the top, the most recent show entitled Relaxation, and that's exactly what I'm going to have. And I'm just curious. It's a Sunday morning. Again, this is the Sabbath. We're celebrating the Lord, and I'm going to have that relaxation one way or the other. It's just a matter of how fast I can get this thing playing from the Monsignor's website. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Monsignor Jim Vlaun.
Welcome to another edition of Religion and Rock. I'm Monsignor Jim Vlaun, and here he is, our producer and engineer, Mr. Stephen Sheldon.
Hello there, sir. Oh, you sound much, much better.
Yeah, I got to tell you the truth. I am in the post-COVID world now.
Okay.
But I've lived it, and I have to tell you, it was a kind of, everything is sort of spiritual for me, right, and religious.
Well,
but
yeah.
It became very religious because I was thinking about the privilege of being able to take these medications that didn't exist 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I think some of our friends, Sheldon, who lost spouses and stuff like that because these drugs weren't available. So I kind of felt sad, but I also felt privileged, right?
Kind of blessed that we were able to, in such a short amount of time, come up with these solutions and cures to help save people.
Together. It's amazing. Yep. So we've kind of lived through the Memorial Day weekend. So you had that time. Are you more relaxed than usual or no?
No, we're actually things are jumping at work, so I'm a little bit more hectic than usual. I want to relax. I need some time to relax.
We have one event that I go to every year, and it's a fundraiser for Catholic schools. It's called the Tomorrow's Hope Foundation. Wonderful group. It's usually my last one of the quote-unquote season.
Right.
And I had that last week, and guess what? I'm done.
You're done.
I mean, I don't have a lot of evening events, so that's good. I get to relax in a new way now. So, yeah, relaxing is an important thing, and that's what we're talking about on Religion and Rock today, the power that comes from kind of letting go a little bit and kind of letting go of our schedule a little bit and maybe spend some time relaxing a little bit more so we can have some more time for prayer and stuff. Good thing.
Yeah, no, and you need to find that time to relax and kind of mentally recharge.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I intend to do for a bit. So it's an important thing to be able to do that and find God in the midst of that. So it's a show today all about that gift of relaxing, even vacation if it can be. I don't know. Are you gonna take any vacation this summer?
Oh, I'm not sure yet. Depends on my work schedule, but yeah, I need to take time off because my company really pushes us to use our time off.
Good.
I don't want it wasted. Yeah,
that's a good thing. And you know what? Your vacations are often like with your family, right? You travel and go see them.
I go and see my family. That's my vacation, is getting to see. I've got the brothers that I don't get to see with family, so that really is my relaxing. And we don't do anything. We just hang out.
Hanging around. That's a good thing.
That's it.
I like just like kind of getting out of the groove a little bit. I like to just kind of sit around and do some reading. I'm reading a book on the Revolutionary War right now. It's really kind of fun. Called The Cause.
Okay.
Interesting. So like, something totally out of my normal valley.
Yeah, that is out of your boundary.
But it's kind of fun. Stretch yourself, Sheldon. It's a good thing, right?
That's what it is. You find different ways to stretch yourself while you're relaxing. And that is different for you.
I need to give the garden update, of course. Because tomatoes are in and all of that stuff. But I have these Italian string beans again that Vito and Rosa gave me. There's an old Italian couple I used to go visit. I found the seeds they gave me, the beans. They're like magic beans. And these string beans are over a foot long.
They're huge. They're
terrific
great
with pasta. So get ready, everybody. They're coming.
No, and I think of Maria and Vito all the time, too, because they made the best chicken thighs.
Yeah, that's right. They're great people. So they're in heaven. They're celebrating in heaven.
Yes.
But again, we who are here on earth in this world that is jam-packed with anxiety and stress, we need this ability to relax a little bit and to kind of find solace and hope in the midst of the peace. So that's what this show is going to be about today, is kind of finding solace and peace in the midst of our crazy lives. It's not going to go away tomorrow.
No.
The threats and the scariness and the losses and the terrible, gas situation and all that. But we can find God in the midst of this, right? That's the hope.
Yeah, no, we can. And it was like the other day I was driving around. I do a lot of driving, and I saw a rainbow in the sky.
There you go.
And I took a picture, and I'm going to send it to you. And it was just a little stressed out, and I saw it. It was in the sky, not one of the, just a prism, and it was beautiful.
Signs from God. That's what we're talking about. Relaxing on Religion and Rock. To start us off, this is Blues Traveler, all in the groove.
All right, that's fantastic. The Monsignor and, of course, Stephen Sheldon, they started off with, some general talk and things about, of course, what the Monsignor said. He's right about that. There is a lot of stress out there, a lot of fear, people on edge, given what's been going on in the world. I mean, all the things that have been going on in the world. Recently, it's been gun violence and, of course, war in Ukraine. There's been, inflation, prices going up. You're going to pay more at the pump, you're going to pay more, you go shopping. And so, people are a little on edge, and there's a lot of stories about that. But here's the thing, my rules for what I normally do here. If the Monsignor, if they select a song that I know reasonably well, I'm going to try to sing along. That's the spirit of the thing at apartment karaoke, absolutely. If I want to do a talk over, then I'm going to lower the volume on the thing. Now, Faye once said to me, I didn't know you raised and lowered the volume during the show. I said, yeah, Faye, that's one of the things I can control when I'm in the middle of doing it, is the volume. Crank it way up, Malibu, really the star of empowermentkaraoke.com. Let's say I do a YouTube video of this, what essentially is a radio talk show. Then you see Malibu in the bottom right square. That's right. That's me in the upper left square. If this was Hollywood Squares, that's where we would be. And he would be in the center. Well, probably in the spotlight, it would be Monsignor Jim Vlaun, as I did last week when I did a YouTube video, my first 4 Sunday sunrise of, part one of the entire program, which was, remembering and honoring those that have gone before us, those that have given their lives in the service of their country. And it was a pretty big show, but it was on 2 parts, and only part 1 became a YouTube video. So I'm going to do a major talk over of this. Now, again, I'm not live anymore. I just saw what happened this morning. Clearly, they had a scheduling change. They obviously decided to put that legislative affairs NPR style thing on WBAB at 7 a.m. instead of Monsignor Jim Vlaun, who's been in that slot for 34 years now at WBAB. Now, why they changed the schedule? Maybe it was just a one-time thing for today, or maybe it's a permanent thing, and maybe they come on at 8 o'clock now. Again, I'm not sure about that, but I think that That has been a traditional spot for Monsignor Jim Vlaun at WBAB for many, many years, and certainly should continue to be if that's what the Monsignor wants to do. Absolutely. That's a great show, and they do a fantastic job, Absolutely. Now, if I had this kind of time, I could easily open up the little short history of Religion and Rock, take you all the way back, That's right, to the early 80s and stuff like that. And, well, actually, it might be more kind of around late 80s, kind of into the 90s and stuff, and Monsignor Jim Vlaun. Now, when he first did it, he's talked about it before, so I suppose it's okay if I talked about it. He said when he first did it, he was talked very much in a whisper when he did it. But gradually, as, years and years, or even maybe shorter than that, went on, he eventually found his voice, and now, well, he doesn't talk in a whisper anymore. Sometimes I do that just for purpose or effect or something like that. Like if I said, hey, do you want to know a secret? And then I busted into the Beatles tune of the same name, and yeah, I have something I want to tell you, my fine listener. Let's say I wanted to say, oh yeah, that song of the month as voted on by you, the listener. I'm going to tell you who it is. No, I'm going to do it right now. I absolutely am. I'm going to do it. It's the tune by the Decemberists dealing with June. There was only one nominated by the Decemberists, and yes, they're the winners as voted on by you, the listener, their song about June. And so, yeah. Now, again, the same rules don't apply, because if this was live, really live, then I would never do this. Just pause the entire thing. I wouldn't do that if it was live at all. But because, again, this is coming off the Monsignor's website, then it's fine. I can just start it and stop it whenever, pop out of it, do another song if I don't want to do that one.
Well, I think that's part of this whole idea of relaxing, that we need to get into the groove of relaxing. You can't bring a lot of agenda with you. You can't be worried about a lot of things. Sometimes it's about letting go of a lot of stuff. I know that same kind of thing is true about prayer. The best prayer comes from a relaxed kind of moment in our lives. So we can have to plan for that. I always plan for the morning to pray. I pray during the day, of course, but I say, well, in the morning, I'm going to give myself an hour, and I'm just going to let nothing get in the way, no phone, no emails, and just kind of spend an hour in prayer. Those kinds of things, I think, help us to get in the groove, if you will, for being in contact with God. The same thing's kind of true, I think, about relaxation. Our lives are so busy now that we actually have to make time to relax. So Thursday night, are you going to be off? Thursday night, is it going to be a date night? This weekend on Saturday, we can spend time with the kids. Those kinds of things, I think, add up and make a huge difference. It's just like our prayer. It's, we get what we invest. And so it's a lot of investment that we really kind of do that helps us to really grow in that ability to be able to relax, but also to connect on another level with our God, which is such an important thing. Here's Kiss, Rock and Roll All Night.
Let's just supposing I didn't want to do a rock and roll all night with Kiss. Let's supposing that I wasn't very familiar with the song and I didn't do it very well, and that I didn't want to do that, and then, then I'm not going to do it. No, I'm going to do some other tune, or I'm not going to do anything at all. I'm going to crank it way up here, and really that's really not even a half of what Malibu's capable of sound-wise. So I'm either going to do that, or I'm going to do nothing at all, absolutely. And so I'm just trying to think what I want to do. Isn't that cool? Want rock and party all night, all day, and then no, I don't want to do it. So I want, I'm not gonna do it. All right, this is Gustavo Trabian. When you say nothing at all.
It's amazing how you can speak right to my heart. Saying a word, you can light up the dark. Try truth in your eyes, saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me wherever I fall. You say best when you say nothing at all. Talking out loud. But when you hold me near, you draw out a crowd. Try as they may, they can never define what's been said between your heart and mine. The smile on your face lets me know that you need me. There's a truth in your eyes saying you'll never leave me. The touch of your hand says you'll catch me wherever I fall.
Now, you must admit that that's more relaxing than the kiss. And now back to the Monsignor.
I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. I wanna rock and roll all night.
Little kiss from the old days, rock and roll all night. Well, something about that's good too. That this time of relaxing also has that kind of component to it, right? Getting together with friends, but also the great gift of outdoor music or music in the summertime. This country of ours has such great music in the summer, right? Whether it's at the little venues at the town parks, or whether it's at the big giant venues in the outdoor amphitheaters or the stadiums, there's these opportunities for us to get in touch with music. I remember when I was a teenager, the New York Philharmonic used to do these shows in the state parks, and every year they came out to Long Island, and I would always go to it no matter what. Now, I wasn't a big fan of classical music, but it was such a beautiful night. You put a towel out and sit on the towel with your friends, get a few people together and just listen to this beautiful classical music under the stars. And as it got darker, it got more beautiful. It was just a great, great night. I can remember going to other events. I remember hearing Mel Torme one time in Freeport, and it was a free concert. I remember seeing Bob Hope in concert. I mean, it's like a crazy thing. I went to all these different things that were free free when I was a kid because they were there. I think music does that for us. It's that place where we can relax and enjoy, whether we're paying $1,000 for a seat or even a free concert, to just enjoy. That helps us to connect, I think, with this musical side, this artistic side, which brings us closer to God on a lot of levels. Here's John Hyatt. This is called Stolen Moments. John Hyatt, Stolen Moments. You know, we have those moments of relaxing where we have to steal them away, right? A couple of hours in an afternoon, a trip, you know, in a nice area, just riding on a nice road. Those things make a difference. Sometimes those are the ways in which we can relax. If we don't have that kind of time off every day or every week or every year, you know, can we find the stolen moments? Get those little moments where we just take a sneak, a little second where we can relax and kind of get away from everything that's going on. Those moments add up. I know lots of people who spend a couple of minutes in the church every day. So they're in the city, city, they walk by an open church, they go inside, they spend a few minutes. Those things change our lives, believe it or not, because we get in touch with God. We kind of find that spiritual side of ourselves that's missing so often, and it helps us to connect. It helps us to be more relaxed. I think it helps us to be better people at work and better people at home, because we've had that moment of respite, which kind of changes everything. Respite is important in our lives, and that's part of what we're called to. Hey, here's Stevie Ray Vaughan. This is called Tightrope.
Now here's where I like to balance, as if I were like walking a tightrope. There's some great stories about people that have done that too, across various structures, like, the World Trade Center. But I don't want to go there right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break. I'm going to relax. Sometimes I do. I just take a break and then I relax. And then, I'm going to segue into something else. I am in just a moment. Okay, I thought of doing the coin flip bit, 2 songs, and then do the one that comes up, the winner of it. But I decided not to. I was going to be a coin flip between You Raise Me Up by Josh Groban or Jesus, Only Jesus with Charles Billingsley. But I decided, no, I'm just going to go You Raise Me Up. Now I'm going to shut Malibu's engine off here. I'm going to kind of make everything really, really quiet. We're going to bring him out. And we're going to get closer to the Lord with this tune by Josh Groban.
raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
From his album Closer and bringing us closer to the Lord, that was Josh Groban with You Raise Me Up. I'll be right back, of course, with the Monsignor in a moment.
Another excuse on this most famous of songs.
That's right, but you're not going to do it. I'm not going to allow it. This is myself from August of 2018 doing just some kind of private recording and stuff having to do with You Raise Me Up and some other song that I was going to do. I don't know what it might have been. Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Sir Elton John, but I'm certainly not going to do that. He's, again, back to the Monsignor show is in progress. Again, we lost the ability to go live this morning with WBAB because they were doing a news program having to do with national affairs. But yeah, we're back into the Monsignor show now, and we're about 20 minutes in, something like that.
Wanna see me stand? Walking the tightrope between wrong and right. Walking the tightrope both day and night. Looking back at the mirror's prayer. Through eyes of love I see, I was looking at a friend. We fall out of blossom, the way life is. My heart goes out to others, but they ain't make a man. We've been walking the tightrope, trying to make it right. Walking the tightrope. Every day and every night, working the
Stevie Ray Vaughan, tightrope. Well, you think about our lives, a lot of it is walking on the tightrope, right? It's a little scary. It's a little tense. The slightest mess up and boy, something terrible could happen. A lot of us have a lot of responsibility, right? So yeah, it's going to be natural that we're going to be kind of in a tightrope situation. It's not always easy to be able to kind of relax ourselves. And so if you're walking on a tightrope, if you have a job that's filled with pressure, if you have a life that's filled with pressure, like most of us do, we have to find those moments where we can kind of get off the tightrope, to find the place where we're depressurized, if you will, so that it's not always that tense moment, it becomes that relaxed moment. We need to find those moments. Maybe it's eating outside. It's the simplicity of eating outside, putting on a full album and listening to a full album. I talk to you about that all the time because music was written, a lot of rock and roll was written to be listened to in its entirety on the album. Something great about that. Spend some time listening to a full album. The Beatles albums are like that, and it kind of relaxes us, takes us someplace else, gets us off the tightrope. God wants us off the tightrope, and that relaxed moment is where we can really find him. Here's Don Henley. It's called Sunset Grill.
All right. Those of you that follow my show, Apartment Karaoke, whichever show, you know that if Henley comes on with a hit from his solo career or any of the tunes that he sings excellently for the Eagles, then I'm going to jump into the middle of the thing as I am right now with this one, Sunset Grill.
Don Henley, Sunset Grill. Interesting song. Kind of reminds me of the TV show Cheers. Remember that? Sometimes I want to go where everybody knows our name and everybody's glad we came. Those places in our lives, where we feel comfortable. Those places where we go out to dinner and you just kind of feel like you're at an extension of your own kitchen table. Those are great places, right? For a lot of us, they're the little restaurant pizzerias that we feel comfortable with all around this country. They're the little Chinese places where we go and get some Chinese takeout or eat it there. Those kinds of places are so important in our lives because I think they help us to relax. It's around those other tables, if you will, that we spend time with friends. And there's something good about that. That interaction is a beautiful thing. Tables are an important thing in our lives when you think about it. First of all, going to church. What's at the center of any church? A table, right? The altar. That's part of this, the meal. And then going to somebody's home. The centerpiece is often the table. Restaurants, of course, the tables. Tables are places where we gather, we have fellowship, and it's also the place where we can relax and be ourselves. Hopefully we can do that in church too, and that's part of that rejuvenating that we need so much in our lives. Hey, I'm Monsignor Jim. You're listening to Religion and Rock. We're talking about relaxing today. Here's Autograph, Turn Up the Radio.
Again, I'm not that familiar with the tune, so I wouldn't do it. And actually, this is the cool thing about it. Again, here in this particular mode, again, not live, but doing it this way, well, I can just pause the program now. And, I'll come back, and I'll pick it up from where I left off. Absolutely. So the time is just about 8 o'clock. I'm still here at the Two Heart Sunglasses Supermarket, and it'll kind of be like I never even left at all. Absolutely. It'll just be a second, and I'll be back. You're listening to Sunday Sunrise. That's right, cranking up that radio, and rock and roll, rocking out with the Monsignor. Great selection, absolutely, and waiting for the thing to, back on. And, well, it's about 5 minutes to noon. Yeah, I was relaxing. That's really what it's all about today, Absolutely, up in my apartment now. Well, I'm sitting in the driveway of my car, Malibu, and Malibu's amazing sound system. When I turn up the radio, it's really, really loud in here. What an amazing vehicle. Just now cranking up the AC. Yeah, here you feel this kind of mighty wind. That's me cooling down. Absolutely, the car's kind of hot. And, so I thought I'd hang out here a while, not go mobile, as I oftentimes do. My landlord, M, he left. Yeah, I saw him leaving from the window in my apartment. I said, I ought to go back down and crank it up, get back in.
Radio.
love radio. You all know that. Anybody who knows me knows how much I love radio. And there's something about radio, that's so intimate, right? I feel like I'm with you every week. It's such a treat for me to be able to do that. I think that's part of relaxing, isn't it? Listening to the radio. There's nothing I like more. I would have to confess to you, as a guy who runs a Catholic television network, nothing I like more at night than listening to the radio. How do you like that? Because it disengages your eyes, right? It's just your ears. And you have this ability to kind of be able to still use other senses. There's something great about radio, and I think it'll always be that wonderful invention that just kind of helps us out so much in our lives, that ability to listen to music, listen to news, get information. What a tremendous gift. This is a summertime where we kind of turn up the radio, enjoy some time with one another, but also enjoy the gift of music, enjoy the gift of relaxing that comes from listening to the music we love. No matter what that music is, it's a gift from God, and we're called to be grateful to God for it. Here's Huey Lewis talking about My Life, boy, couple days off.
That's a rockin' out, Huey Lewis and News, I'm a huge fan and do a lot of those tunes here on the program. Do you believe in love? I do. I'm very clear when I say I believe in love, and I sing the tune by Huey Lewis. Back in Time from, the Back to the Future film franchise, you bet. Back in Time. Absolutely, And, a lot of other great Huey Lewis hits and stuff. I get really excited about that. But I'll tell you, I'm going to go forward in time now. I'm going to take you forward a little time, because here's the thing. I'm trying to make these a little bit shorter, these programs. But yeah, it's very important. The time that we have for relaxation. For me, as an echo tech and cardiac sonographer, Saturday and Sunday, I'm off. And I'm very happy with the fact you need those 2 days, to sharpen the store, to rewind, and get back in focus. You just need a little bit of time sometimes for repairs. Internal repairs, spiritual repairs, repairs to your soul, repairs to your physical body, and more sleep, Absolutely. Now, talking about sleep, well, sometimes I don't get as much as I could. A lot of us nowadays, we're working and maybe we're staying up too late, maybe watching movies and things like this. But it's important to get the correct numbers of sleep. And I would leave that up to the experts to suggest what that should be, whether it's 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep a night, whatever they say. I wouldn't disagree with them when they talk about that. They have the expertise, the people, like you ask your doctor or your provider, what's the correct amount of sleep, that I should be getting. I'm sure that they'll have a good answer for that. But yeah, maybe we're all a little tired, sometimes, and we need that time to retool. I like to tell a little story that Abe Lincoln once said. There's that tired place, inside that nothing ever seems to touch, And sometimes we feel like that, just we never quite get to that point. We're always moving and stuff like that. But, he was dealing with at the time, of course, yes, you guys know what he was dealing with. That's right. The Civil War, of course, the rebellion, the insurrection, and naturally had a lot of work to do, and it could never, ever get done, But this guy was like working his whole life, and it was always, really, really tired, It's just one of those things. It never stopped him from moving forward and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought I'd just talk over the entire song, but basically, Huey Lewis and the News, what they're basically saying is, you just need a couple of days off. I think that's the thing, and a time to retool. Now, I would remind you, I still plan to go back in time to June the 6th of last year and the Monsignor's program on relaxation and vacation at that time as well, after, today's show is over, that's for sure. Very, very interesting stuff going on today, and just happy I could get this, show done. I'm very happy about the fact.
couple of days off, a couple of you may remember that I just had COVID, I'm just getting over COVID. It wasn't too bad, thank God, and I took the medication, which was a big help, this Paxlovid, and it was a big help. But the other thing it did force is 5 days of isolation, believe it or not. And I couldn't remember the last time I had 5 days off in a row. Last time I spent 5 days alone, not associating with anybody. It was an amazing thing. But what happened was a tremendous sense of rest that I didn't even know I needed. What an incredible gift that was, and I think in our lives, we need to find that sometimes, that we've been going and going and going, some of us for decades, if not years. And you know what? When you stop, it's a beautiful thing sometimes. Our body gets to slow down. Our body empties out. There's something beautiful about being able to fill it up once again with the happiness and the hopefulness that is kind of the life of the spiritual person. That's what you and I are called to be. And that's kind of what stopping helps us to do. Sometimes it's a forced stop, but nonetheless, a couple of days off never hurt anybody, that's for sure. Here's the Who, Summertime Blues.
And there ain't no cure for them summertime blues. The Who. Yeah, I gotta join the Who when it's thinking of this thing.
So you gotta work with me. No cure for the summertime. The summertime.
That's the Who, Summertime Blues. That happens sometimes in the summer too. Like sometimes we get a little bit sad in the summer. We think about what's been lost. I have to tell you, going back to the COVID situation with myself, I remember taking the medications. I would take the medications in the morning and nighttime, particularly at night when I would take these medications. It would really be like a prayerful moment. I know that sounds a little corny, but it was really a very prayerful moment because I would think about all of the people who didn't have the privilege of living long enough to take these drugs. They weren't developed 2 years ago. There were no drugs. And I think to myself, what a tremendous blessing in my life, Lord, that I have this ability to be able to take these drugs that are going to get me better. And how many people did not have that? And I prayed for those people so many times, during the course of my sickness, but also it reminds me to be mindful of that. The people we've lost and the people who are still a part of our lives in our hearts and in our minds because of their tremendous impact on our lives. So it kind of calls us from the blues to a sense of maybe hopefulness for the great gift of those people and how they've changed our lives in so many ways. And the great gift of technology that God gives us too, right? Well, here's the Allman Brothers. This is called Southbound.
Indeed, it is good. It is good to be grateful, for all the drugs that we have to fight COVID, for the vaccines, for the boosters. And thank heavens that we have those, to help us move forward. And I'm glad to hear that the Monsignor is feeling better. Moving forward, I'm just going to go ahead and move it on down the track towards another tune right now. And no disrespect to the Allman Brothers Band, great band. I just thought I'd, kind of speed things up just a little bit here as we're kind of moving forward towards the end of the Monsignor show this morning. And, of course, mine will be a little bit longer owing to that time travel I mentioned back in time to June of 2021. But, yeah, I'm just going to go a little bit different direction with it. This one's a great old one by, Old Crow Medicine Show called Wagon Wheel. And everyone join along. This one's posted out there by Swordfish94 in YouTube. Yep, so switching over.
In 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh I can see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Running from the cold up in New England, I was born to be a fiddler in an old town string band. My baby plays the guitar, I pick a banjo now. Oh, North Country winters keep forgetting me, and I lost my mind in playing poker, so I had to up and leave, but I ain't turning back. Will you let on life no more? So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Walking due south out of Roanoke, I caught a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long toke. But he's headed west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee. And I gotta get a move on bid for the southern. I hear my baby calling my name, and I know that she's the only one. And if I die in Raleigh, each time we'll die real. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, any
Show Medicine Show with the great hit. And now back to the Monsignor.
Interesting human dynamic. The hot places fill up in the summer, right? Such an interesting thing. So we go from one hot place to an even hotter place. I remember being down in Florida a couple of times in the summer. It's over 100 degrees and we're walking around down there saying to yourself, what are you doing? You know, it's amazing. We like being in the heat. There's something good about heat. And I think going south, you know, you get that sense of living down there and a sense of a different lifestyle. Sometimes the lifestyle change in itself is relaxing. Do you ever like rent a place with friends or go camping, or even go out on a boat? That kind of experience in a different place is such a good thing for human beings. I think our lives are somewhat rote. You know, we do the same things every day, most of us, right? So it's a great thing to be able to take a break and be able to relax and say, I'm going to do it a little differently for a week. We're going to go camping. We're going to, you know, cook on a little Coleman stove. We're not going to use the same stuff we always use. Those kinds of things are great. I remember sometimes, you know, my parents would do breakfast for dinner. And even that little change would be such a beautiful thing for us, you know? That's how God breaks in, I think, when we change it up a little bit and give a little space for new experiences and new hope and new joy to form. Here's Peter Frampton. This is called Day in the Sun.
Now, I must say, oftentimes Peter Frampton comes alive at apartmentkaraoke.com. Yeah, sometimes I do some of his stuff or his live stuff, absolutely, or studio version. But now I'm kind of changing it up a little bit. And again, doing that fast forward numbering. Bzz, 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 bzz. Okay, if you don't hear this next song that I sing, then it never got done. Or it got done, but it was blocked in YouTube, possibly.
Day in the Sun, Peter Frampton. You know, there's nothing quite like a day in the sun. Spending a little bit of time outside, changing up the environment a little bit. When is the last time you drove with your windows open? I haven't done that in a long time. You know, it's about risking the hair, right? And blow around a little bit. But kind of that change of atmosphere that gives us that sense of relaxing and space that we don't usually get. So spend some time relaxing, you know? Spend a different kind of time so that we can find God again in this new time of year and recognize his powerful presence every day, but particularly in this kind of maybe not slower, but different time as the weather changes and our lives sort of ease up a little bit from the normal stress. School's out. It's a time for peace. It's a time to kind of recognize that. So God is with us in the midst of all of that. God is with us in the midst of all the moments of tense life, but in those moments of non-tense life, of peace. Find him in the peace, and you'll be glad you did, because that's that moment where God can really break in and bring great joy to our lives. You've been listening to Religion and Rock. It's hosted by me, Monsignor Jim Vlaun, and it's engineered and produced by the great man of relaxing, Stephen Chaldone. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and don't forget, say a prayer.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say a brief prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we'd like to thank you for the Monsignor's program, Religion and Rock, and today's message on relaxation. Lord, come into our hearts. Relax our hearts, Lord. Help take away our worries, our fears, our stresses in our lives, Lord, and help us move forward in a spirit of peace and in your joy and in your love. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Now the time is 12:25 p.m. And yes, I'm going to do it like I said I was going to do it. The song, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. No, it's not that. It's not called that. But, you know, the thing, relax with, you know, Frankie and the guys from that group, that band. And so, yes, it's just a matter of how quickly I can do it. Now, again, I got to slow it down. You know, Billy Joel in his song, Vienna, he says, slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile. And I get really excited whenever I sing any kind of tunes with Billy Joel, whether it's that one or sometimes a fantasy or Captain Jack or indeed All for Lena or what have you. New York State of Mind, you bet. I'm in New York State. Whether you're upstate or downstate, we're all New Yorkers in this thing. And everyone, relax. It's all good. Relax from their album Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. Frankie, thank you so much. And the thing, thank you very much. We'll let them have the last word. That's the end of part one. Again, at the beginning of part two, we're going to do the time travel back to June the 6th, 2021, and the Monsignor show on relaxation and vacation on that day. Thank you for listening.